Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Whimsical Dark with K.O. Patrick, or Logan, or again, whatever you want to call me. And I was going to talk about Mistborn this week and continue talking about it. I meant to do it the past 2 weeks, but I'm Peach and we're right at the end of the semester, so things have gotten kind of crazy. But instead, I'm going to talk about an indie novel written by my friend Michael Stone. And he was gracious enough to give me an ARC, and that was really fun. It's The Shimmering, which is such a fun title. I really enjoyed that. Like, the premise is post-apocalyptic, but it's also got some fantasy, and it's also got some there's some culty vibes, of course, the horror in it. Like, there's a lot going on in this novel, and he does it so well. He basically creates like a double narrative that is a father and a daughter who both don't know each other are alive. And after the collapse, which it's very vague on what the collapse is, and if a cult may have been involved, kind of Jim Jonesy like stuff is what it reminds me of. And so 25 years later, they're dealing with the pushback of everything. And they are trying to figure out what in the world has happened and find each other and stop this just crazy stuff from happening. Because it's implied that something's going to happen because it's been the allotted amount of time. And that's scary. So it turns into, there's so many different layers to it, and it almost reminds me of The Last of Us in some way with the post-apocalyptic, but there's not zombies. There's things called dark ones that are assumed to be cannibals that may or may not have been, like, we don't know what happened to these people to make them the way they are. But they're living in a world where it reminds me of, in a way, kind of like the Handmaid tale, where the kind of a patriarchal society where the word of these people is what is important. Specifically, it's about the word of the prophet, because the prophet is the law, and they have their versions of the commandments and all that, and they end up, it's crazy because they end up all over the place at different times, and they're basically making their way to Nolan and Lisa. They are making their way, or Liza, my bad, are making their way to meeting back up with each other. And it's kind of this incredible thing where you're like, they don't know each other alive. You don't know if they are going to make it to finding each other. And there's a lot of issues that come up along the way. There's some possible magic stuff to stop whatever this is, whether it's a demon, an eldritch being. Something is going to happen, and that's what kind of sets the story off, is that we're 25 years later, and oh no, what's going on? Besides Nolan wanting, like, finding out his family's still alive, and is like, oh, I need to go get them. I need to go find them. And we end up with this very, like, his prose are, I don't know the best way to put it, but it's kind of simple, but it's very well written. Like, especially the action scenes. He's really good at those and getting you in the moment with everything. And it's a like, and then on top of that, we have like the epitome of, I guess, trauma almost. At least that's what I took it as in the Shimmers, which are just, I think it's taking like, so there's a theory, and I'm sure a lot of people, especially if you like ghost shows like I do, the theory that there's residual energy, and this residual energy, and a lot of the terror comes from these places called Shimmers, where things are happening. Say, for instance, for Nolan, he's watching his mother commit suicide the night she died over and over again. These moments of high impact, or like serial killers, or like what have you. It seems like these moments that are really high energy, really high emotions, are just stained into the dimension for which we live in, and they have come back, and they can actually hurt people, and that's very scary. Or at least they can, like, people don't go in Shimmers, so it's kind of like that thing. And his world building is very vague, but then he shows you something. You're like, oh my God, that's crazy. And by vague, I mean in a good way. Like, he leaves a lot up to our imagination. He doesn't beat us. He doesn't beat the author over the head he doesn't beat the reader over the head with what's happening, what's going on, like, who are these people? Why are we doing this? He does not, like, he gives us a promise at the beginning of both their arcs that they're kind of looking for each other. They're existing in this world that they feel completely out of place in. And then now they're trying to get back to having a place. And like, today is his release day, or at least now it's yesterday, as of 23 minutes ago, as I'm recording this at 12 a.m. on the 11th, and hopefully it'll be posted later today. But you guys should check out this book. Like, it has so many things. If you like dystopia, if you like horror, if you like vague amounts of like some fantasticalness to things. And the world building is superb in its own way. It's very interesting because, like I said, he doesn't like give it all to you up front. He leaves a lot to you for you as the reader to really figure out. So that's, I guess, my little ramblings about my friend's book. But check it out, The Shimmering by Michael Stone, a fun dystopian apocalyptic horror novel, and it's a 5 stars for me. Like, it's really, really well done, and I'm looking forward to more from him. But anyways, if you can check him out and give him a follow, buy the book, read the book, review the book, I know that would mean the world to him, and it's definitely worth it. Like, you will really enjoy this book. And there are some grotesque scenes, but they make the book stand out. And man, like, you need to check it out. Like, if you don't, like, you're missing going on there one of the most interesting premises for a book, and then like the concept is so well made. And I think that's really cool. Like, this is a unique concept in the way he goes about the apocalyptic world, especially viewing it through possible demons or possible what have you. But to learn more, you need to read it. Well, I guess that's all I got to say. So you guys, I hope you enjoy. Check out his book and be ready for next week. I'm hoping to have something interesting for then, but have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.